Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Hey guys, what's up? Hitmarthrower here, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Smash Bros. Brawl. We are actually starting up a new chapter, I suppose, of me showing off Smash Bros. Brawl. And so we're starting here with the boss battles. Now what you guys just saw a moment ago was me showing all the achievements you unlock for beating it on the 4 difficulties that are not intense, so easy to very hard. Because I said I was going to play it on intense with everybody to prove that it can be done. For anybody that did not believe it could be done, it's actually pretty simple to do. So we're going to be starting here with Mario. The reason that I'm actually doing this post-commentary, if you could not tell, was for showing off or explaining each of the different bosses, so that way I can be focused a little bit on how to do it with each character in later levels. So it's only going to be post for this one and for Marth's, because I didn't record commentary for that because it was a long time ago and I've had it on my desktop for a while. But I just wanted to explain how each of the bosses worked. First and foremost, since I'll explain how it works in a second, how the actual boss battles work, but since Rayquaza is about dead here, typically the pattern for this one is, the best strategy here is to air dodge a lot, so whenever an attack starts, just jump and air dodge. That will generally get you around most of the problems that you have with him. Most of his attacks can easily be dodged by doing that. Some of them you might want to roll out of the way for, like the one where he comes up out of the ground, the one where he goes along the ground sideways. As for Master and Crazy Hand, they have gotten ridiculously easy since their days in Smash Bros. Melee. Pretty much anything you want to do, you can do. They're their attacks are very easily predictable, and so you should have no problem beating them anymore. Even on high difficulties, they're probably not going to take you more than 20 seconds, so you just have to keep at it and you should have no trouble with it. Same thing for Master Hand, so I'll talk about a little bit more about boss battles when we get to there. Ridley actually functions quite a bit like Master Hand and Crazy Hand do, as you can probably watch right here. You have that one where they go across the stage, which is similar to their side swipe. You have ones where they go down like this, and then they come from the background. Master Hand and Crazy Hand both have that. So you see a lot of patterns that are very similar. Ridley is only difficult in the fact that sometimes you can get stuck under the stage if he does get you, and that attack that he just used right there can be going at different speeds, and sometimes it can be hard to get out of the way of it whenever he's going really, really fast. That was not the case there. I don't really know what the pattern is for. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. The real trick is just attacking him a couple times and then backing up a little bit so you have enough time to, adjust accordingly to whatever attack he's about to do. Duon is probably, in my opinion, this one is the hardest one to beat, at least just in general, it's the hardest one to beat. The blue one focuses on melee attacks while the pink one focuses primarily on projectiles. There are a few exceptions to that rule, where they have their team attacks, so the blue one throws bombs, or they jump like this and go to the other side of the stage. But these guys are hard to beat, or I guess the one boss is hard to beat, mostly because they can take a fair amount of punishment, and they can do a pretty high amount of damage, which is kind of the case with Galleom, but except he can't take as much punishment as Duon can. So it seems like, in my opinion, that Duon is probably the hardest one to beat, even over Tabuu, in all honesty. Tabuu has some pretty easy attacks to dodge. This guy's hard to fight also because you'll see sometimes you have those sparks coming up by the wheel, and that's generally where you are. You want to be close range to attack, but in doing that you can still get hit fairly easily. So if you're going for a no damage run, you have to play really carefully against this boss. The best strategy would be waiting for the pink one to shoot off the missiles and having them come back around and hit themselves with it. That does a very high amount of damage, so that's a good strategy for beating them on that. For Meta Ridley, like Crazy Hand, this is the only other boss, I believe, other than Crazy Hand, that actually does not start on the right-hand side of the stage. He starts right above you. And the real trick to this one is kind of like it is for Rayquaza, is if you jump and air dodge, you can dodge pretty much every attack that they can possibly throw at you, or he can throw at you. He will go off the stage or off the screen and back on the screen like he's been doing right here. He doesn't have too many attacks, and they're fairly easily predictable, so Meta Ridley, in my opinion, is actually less difficult than regular Ridley is. He just doesn't seem to be that effective in beating anybody, for that matter. You just have to watch out for a few insta-kills that he has where he jumps down on the ship or he hits the back end of the ship, because that can instantly kill you, so you do have to be careful with that. As for Galleom, as I already mentioned, he can do quite a bit of damage. He can't take as much punishment as Duon, but he still is a threat because of how much damage and knockback that he has. He's got a very high knockback, and he's got a couple moves like this where you really can't do anything other than fire projectiles if you have them, and then just kind of stay out of his way. Fortunately, a lot of his attacks, like the one he just used right there, will leave him susceptible for a decent amount of time. His attacks are fairly predictable, however, if he's moving really quickly, then it's not very easy to have enough time to counteract them. Who do we have next, now that I've caught up? Okay, Crazy Hand. So now I can talk about how Boss Battles works. Boss Battles functions quite a bit like All-Star, except in fighting the 35 characters that you can play as in the game. You're fighting the 10 enemy bosses, 9 of which were seen in subspace. Crazy Hand was not seen. Master Hand was seen but not fought, but you'll be fighting both the hands as well as everyone we've seen thus far and who we will continue to see. The order is random of the bosses. It's not from different series. You're not going to see Master Hand and Crazy Hand first and second or anything like that. The only thing guaranteed in the order is that the final boss of Subspace Emissary Tabuu will be fought last every single time. You have 3 heart containers on the side that you can use up at your will between fights. You have 3 of them. They do not respawn, so you need to use them sparingly. Make sure that you can afford to not use them all at the start, because if you use them after the first 3 battles, then that means you're going to have to go through the rest of it without, getting knocked off, and you're not going to have any way of recovering your health, so you're going to have to be really careful when you do that. So here we have Porky. This is another type of grounded enemy. It's kind of similar to Rayquaza. A really good strategy for this guy is using your down smash, because you might be able to hit him on both sides. Porky's a boss that can't do really a lot of damage all at once. It kind of builds up, but it can build up very quickly. And before you know it, you're in the high 80s, and once that happens, you're in serious trouble. Because then all it takes is a moderately strong attack like the one he's using right now has ended many playthroughs of mine on Intense on some of the characters I'm not very good with. And if that hits you, you could, be sent to the background. So you do have to be careful on this one. As long as you're avoiding a pretty high percentage of his attacks or dodging them, then you should have no problem. Really, the difficulty comes with the lasers and the one that he did right before I beat him right there. Petey Piranha is a very easy one to beat, and for the most part, he shouldn't even be damaging you. I think I got hit a couple times because I got greedy with how much damage I was trying to do. But he only has 2 attacks, and that's the side swipe you're seeing right here, and then the jump attack that you see right there. Those are the only 2 things he can do. Occasionally, he will let out a roar whenever you start doing a lot of damage to him, and he will repeat the same motion 2 or 3 times, like right here. He's going to be doing the side swipe a couple times, as opposed to alternating between them. Maybe he's doing the jump multiple times? I don't know. Yeah, he's doing the jump multiple times. But his attacks are fairly predictable. I would not recommend going for I wouldn't recommend going for him. I'd recommend going for one of the cages and just focusing your attacks on it. Because once you knock out one of the cages, then he will be knocked out. So there's no point in focusing your energy on both the cages. Just focus on one of them, and that should do the trick. I prefer going after the left cage. That's what you're going to see most of the time. It doesn't really matter which cage. They have the same HP, so feel free to do whatever you want there. And lastly, we have Tabuu from obviously the Subspace Final Boss. Fortunately, his HP is much lower here than it is in Subspace Emissary, because you've only got 1 character, as opposed to the 6 that you had in the story mode. So, you're not going to get as much leeway. If you lose your character here, it's going to be game over. You only have 1 life, so if you die at any point in the 10-man gauntlet, then you are dead, and you'll have to start all over. Tabuu can warp around the stage like you saw right there. Sometimes there will be like a little explosion that falls behind him, so you have to be careful whenever he does warp that he doesn't hit you with that explosion. He generally stays fairly high up in the air, so you will have to do a lot of jump attacks to get him, so don't focus too much on your smashes or whatnot. Focus on your aerials, which is something most characters you'll see me doing. As you can see, for Mario, he's using a lot of his up aerial. Certain moves that he has, like the Red Ring of Death that we just saw, and the one that he just tried to use where he's got the little yellow thing and he tries to grab you. On higher modes, which in this case Intense, they will be insta-kills, so if you do not dodge them, they will kill you. For anybody that doesn't know how to dodge, you're going to press your shield button and then press down, and that's how you dodge out of the way. You can also do that in the air to air dodge, or you can press left and right to roll out of the way, but rolling is not a good idea for the Red Rings. It's easier just to do the back dodge. Once you can get the timing down, then it should never present a problem to you. Right now, whenever Tabuu's giant like that, that's probably the best opportunity you'll ever get for your smash attacks. So, if you're going for smashes, that's when you would do it. A lot of the fights for Tabuu do require a lot of dodging. It's not so much, you know, having to worry about damage him or him warping around the stage, so much as it really is just making sure that you can dodge his attacks accordingly, because he can build up damage fairly quickly, and so, like I said, some of his moves are insta-kills, so you have to watch out for that. But once Tabuu's beaten,
Wow! Incredible!
you will see that, and then it will move on to your unlockables, which we will see after Mars, because that's the first one I beat it with. And I have that video. But anyway, next time on Let's Play Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I will be continuing with Donkey Kong for the next fight. So, see you guys then.